Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Zhou's ears twitched. The silent palace made it even easier for him to use the listening power from the heavenly writing. He opened his eyes and looked at the skies outside the palace. A black figure appeared. The figure moved swiftly and nimbly as it snuck into the palace, traversed the corridors, and sniffed about like a dog. He seemed to have a unique talent for picking up scents. Whenever he stopped, a faint energy could be seen swirling around the tip of his nose before quickly disappearing. At this time, several imperial guards on patrol passed by outside the palace. The black figure scurried into a room and hid behind a screen. Again, a faint energy swirled around the tip of his nose before disappearing. His nose twitched. Who's there? He spun around, his eyes widened in shock. He saw an elderly man sitting on a rush cushion inside the room. The old man appraised him, seemingly unafraid. "What are you looking for, young man?" The black figure's heart was racing. He kept his eyes fixed on the old man. He gulped as his nose twitched again. He cried out, Five leaf? Zhou was taken aback. "You can tell that I'm at the 5-leaf stage?" The black figure did not answer the question. Instead, he said, "That's none of your business. From now on, you're not to make any sound. Otherwise, I'll kill you." Zhou nodded. He stroked his beard and asked, "A deep-eye tribesman?" The black figure was slightly taken aback. "Huh? You know about us? I went to Rongbei when I was young. The Deep-Eye tribe isn't outstanding among the other tribes. What gives you the courage to infiltrate Great Yen?" Zhou said casually as though they were discussing the weather. The black figure chuckled and said, "Why not? Great Yan's 9 provinces were in turmoil, the divine capital had been reduced to rubble. The imperial guards had suffered great losses, and the 2 academies were destroyed by the Nether Sect's attacks. Indeed, this was the best time to infiltrate Great Yen. Zhou expected the other tribes to band together to invade the empire. He did not expect them to infiltrate Great Yen. It was no wonder that Liang province was peaceful and without large-scale battles. Zhou asked nonchalantly, "What are you looking for?" "Don't ask about something that you shouldn't ask about." The black figure stood at a distance from Zhou in a stance that showed he would attack at any given moment. "A box?" Zhou continued to bait him. "How did you know?" The black figure was shocked. "A box left by a 9-leaf elite, right?" The black figure's eyes widened as he looked at Zhou. He hurriedly said, "If you tell me where it is, I'll spare you." He was, naturally, clueless to the fact that the old man seated before him was a tiger more terrifying than himself. With Zhou's strength, he had no trouble taking down these other tribesmen. However, since they were capable of sneaking into the palace, they had surely resolved to sacrifice their lives for this cause. "If you tell me your objectives, I'll tell you." Zhou's attitude was calm and firm. The black figure turned and looked out the window. The night was getting late. The imperial city was too huge. It was a tall order to find one box. He considered Zhou's words before he finally said in a hushed voice, "There's something we want inside that box. As for what it is, we don't know as well. We're only here on orders." "Whose orders?" Alarm bells rang in the black figure's mind when he heard this question. He looked at Zhou and asked, "Are you trying to dig information out of me? If you want the box, you'll answer me." Zhou replied. The black figure replied, "Fine. It's General Carol. Carol is only a general of the allied army of Lulan and Roli. You're a Deep-Eye tribesman. Why do you obey his orders?" Upon hearing Zhou's words, the black figure was suddenly certain of the knowledge that the old man seated before him was not a simple person. He said, somewhat warily, "Is it strange for Rongxi and Rongbei to be allied?" When Zhou heard this, he stroked his beard and nodded. He said, the palace has already been conquered by the evil sky pavilion. You've got guts coming here. Aside from old villain G, the others are a ragtag team of senior citizens and invalids. There's nothing to fear about them, the black figure replied. You've investigated the evil sky pavilion? Zhou was curious now. How did this man know that the evil sky pavilion was nothing but a group of old people and invalids? Although it was grating to his ears, he was forced to agree with the black figure's description when he thought about it. That's easy. To tell you the truth, we have eyes inside and outside the divine capital, the black figure said. Zhou was slightly speechless. Although it was common to plant spies in an enemy nation, it was rare to see a nation sending this many spies out. Very well. Zhou stood up slowly. His movement startled the black figure. He said with a gruff voice, "Don't move. Old geezer, where's the box?" The black figure's voice was low and hoarse. "I have it." When the black figure heard this, a delighted expression appeared on his face. "Nice. Give me the box, and I'll spare you." You'll spare me? You're refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit." In truth, the black figure had never intended to keep his words. After answering so many questions, he had long made up his mind to kill Zhou. He stomped his feet and drew his dagger at lightning speed. He had to deal with his enemy in the shortest time possible to prevent a commotion. Zhou raised his palm and pushed it forward, launching a great seal of fearlessness that shone with a brilliant golden light. A hint of blue light could be seen around it as well. It looked extremely eye-catching in the dark. The black figure was caught off guard by this. Bam! The great seal of fearlessness struck his face, and he reeled back. Bam! The hand seal's impact pushed the black figure out the door, causing him to roll down the stairs outside. His internal organs were heavily injured. He grunted before he turned to the side and spat out a mouthful of blood. He's really strong. The black figure pressed a hand to his chest as he struggled to rise to his feet. Then, he quickly sped off. I'd like to see how far you can run. Zhou flew out. He summoned his 5-leaf avatar. Whiz. His shining golden avatar immediately illuminated Dajing Palace and the plaza before Dajing Palace. Drawn by the commotion, the imperial guards and the cultivators inside the palace who were nearby rushed over. Zhou flew at lightning speed. He looked down and saw the deep-eye tribesmen flying at a low altitude. Then, he sent another palm seal out. A frightened expression appeared on the deep-eye tribesman's face as he summoned his avatar. It was a 6-leaf leopard king. I see. Bam! The palm seal hit the 6-leaf leopard king. At this moment, several figures shot up in the skies. Zhou's disciples were drawn and alerted by this commotion and had rushed over. The deep-eye tribesman continued keeping low as he fled. He looked behind him and said, "Unfortunately, you're not old villain G. You have no hope of capturing me." The deep-eye tribesman's voice had barely faded when Zhou raised his hand and launched a binding cage card. The card only had a 30% hit rate. When the binding cage card sailed out in the air, Zhou threw a second card into the air. 2 square cages doggedly pursued the deep-eye tribesman. The deep-eye tribesman looked back and exclaimed in shock, "What are these things?" As soon as the deep-eye tribesman finished speaking, one of the 2 cages dropped down on him. Then, a shining golden net appeared on the ground. Bam! The first card shattered. Soon after, the second cage dropped and missed its mark as well. The deep-eye tribesman was stunned. When he regained his senses, he said with a smile, "You're all bark but no bite. It's just a flashy technique. Old geezer, we'll meet again. Farewell." Zhou felt slightly speechless when he saw this. That fellow is incredibly lucky. Zhou flipped his hand, and unnamed appeared in his hand. He rose into the air above Dajing Palace. He looked at the deep-eye leopard king running toward the distance under the moonlight. At this moment, his disciples were already here. The imperial guards and the elites of the inner palace had also arrived. They arrived just in time to witness this scene. After Unnamed turned into a bow, Zhou calmly pulled on the bowstring until the bow resembled the full moon. Soon after, an energy arrow appeared between his index and middle finger. Swoosh! The energy arrow flew out at the Deep-Eye tribesman's back. There was no doubt about the outcome. The black figure was struck by the energy arrow and fell down from the skies. After the arrow struck the Deep-Eye tribesman, the palace's elites looked at Zhou, who was hovering above Dajing Palace, in shock and fearful respect. Then, they turned to look at the spot where Thief fell and wondered inwardly, who's stupid enough to place himself directly in front of the muzzle of a gun. When Duanmu Sheng saw this, he cried out before diving down, "I'll go get him." Zhou put Unnamed away and looked at the palace's elites around him. Then, he said tonelessly, "What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for me to catch all the thieves in the palace for you?" "Yes, yes, yes. We'll go. We'll go immediately." The palace's elites hastily scattered. "Lock down the imperial city. Don't let anyone in or out. Catch the thieves." Based on the voices he heard, he speculated there were 5 other tribesmen who had infiltrated the palace this time. It should not be difficult to capture all of them after locking down the imperial city and combing the area. Shortly after, Duanmu Sheng brought the Deep-Eye tribesman, who was shot by the arrow, back. He landed in front of Dajing Palace and tossed the person onto the ground. Thud. The Deep-Eye tribesman cried out from the pain. His eyes were brimming with fear at this moment. The others were puzzled. How was he still alive after being hit by an arrow of a 9-leaf cultivator? They studied him for a moment before they figured out the answer. The arrow had only struck his abdomen. This meant that his Dantian Sea of Qi was damaged. He had merely lost his cultivation base, and he would not die just yet. Zhou slowly landed. The others descended as well. Zhou looked at the Deep-Eye tribesman. Name, Li. Identity, Deep-Eye tribesman. Realm, nascent divinity realm. What's your name? Li cowered in fear. He did not answer the question. Instead, he said, "You're not a 5-leaf cultivator?" Duanmu Sheng frowned. He went up and kicked Li. After that, he fiercely said, "My master is already a 9-leaf cultivator. Are you insulting him?" 9-leaf? Li trembled. Zhou was not bothered by this. Instead, he said, "Answer me. Your old villain G." As soon as Li finished speaking, Zhu Honggong shot forward from among the crowd and punched Li. His punch landed squarely on Li's chest. Bam! Li cried out in pain again. Zhu Honggong raised his fists and cursed, "I'll give you a chance to reconstruct your sentence." Li bit back the pain and hastily said, "I'm Li from the Deep-Eye tribe in Rongbei. I'm here to look for a box. It's said that the box contains the secrets of the 9-leaf stage. I brought 4 comrades with me. Each of them has different skills such as breaking formations, fleeing, climbing, and seeing in the dark. I'm the leader of the group. I have a keen sense of smell. Please don't kill me. I'll tell you everything." Zhu Honggong nodded. "Master, he has told us everything. He's useless now. I'll clobber him to death." "Stand down," Zhou said. "Yes, master." Zhu Honggong obediently retreated to the side. Zhou looked at Li and asked, "The Deep-Eye tribe knows about the 9-leaf stage as well?" Li said, "About 50 years ago, an expert came to our tribe. He said, he stayed in Great Yan's palace for some time." When Zhou heard this, he said, "Great Yan's imperial tutor." Yes, he's Great Yan's imperial tutor. He said that he was looking for someone. That's why he was traveling around to the lands of the 10,000 tribes. He stayed with us for 10 years, Li replied. As expected, the 9-leaf elite was still alive. Zhou pressed on. "Do you know where he is now?" Li shook his head and said, "Although this man is on good terms with the king, he has a profound cultivation base. Nobody can stop him if he wishes to leave." "He told you to look for the box?" "Well. Bam. Zhu Honggong banged his boxing gloves together. Luli started, then he hastily said, wait. The king sent me here. Everyone knows about the 9-leaf stage now. The 12 nations of Rongxi and Rongbei are trying to reach the 9-leaf stage. Whoever attains it first will have the advantage over the others. This reminded Lu Zhou of the practices of modern companies who sent spies to their competitors' companies to steal precious techniques. They would resort to anything to achieve their goals. It was not strange for the other tribes of Rongbei to do this as well. There are only 5 of you here? Lu Zhou asked. Yes, only the 5 of us. Lu Li replied. At this moment, the remaining 4 Deep Eye tribesmen were brought toward them by the Imperial Guards. The Imperial Guards pushed them. On your knees. Lu Li looked at the others with a stunned expression. Why were they so easily captured? The 4 of them kneeled next to Lu Li. Their faces were swollen and bruised. At this moment, Zhao Yu said, Master, I heard that the divine capital isn't too peaceful these days. There are many spies from the other tribes causing trouble everywhere. Lu Li hastily waved his hands and said, they're not from the Deep Eye tribe. They must be from Lu Lan or Roli. Lu Zhou looked at Zhao Yu and asked, are the disturbances serious? It's not only in the divine capital. The other tribesmen are causing trouble in the 9 provinces as well, but the divine capital has it worse. Lu Zhou looked at Duanmu Sheng and said, I want to see Hua Chongyang tomorrow morning. Understood. After saying this, Lu Zhou turned around and left. The next morning. Inside Dazheng Palace. Lu Zhou's extraordinary power had increased after a night of meditation. Hua Chongyang, who had received Duanmu Sheng's message, did not waste time and rushed toward the palace. Greetings, Senior Ji. Lu Zhou looked at Hua Chongyang and asked, do you know why you're here? Hua Chongyang bowed and said, I'm sure you've heard that the other tribesmen have infiltrated the divine capital and are causing trouble. They are robbing the civilians and committing atrocities of every kind. You have tens of thousands of members in the Nether Sect, and yet, you can't even manage the divine capital? Lu Zhou asked, perplexed. They would go into hiding after they commit crimes. They would lay low before they strike again. They're too cunning. The other tribesmen are doing this on purpose. I caught 3 of them over the past 2 days. A troubled expression could be seen on Hua Chongyang's face when he spoke. At this moment, Duanmu Sheng walked in. He bowed and said, Master. A letter came to the imperial city. Kindly have a look. Lu Zhou took the letter and opened it. Old villain Ji, release Lu Li and the others or we'll kill the people in the divine capital. We'll kill 5 people every day until they are freed. After reading this, Lu Zhou clenched his fist. Poof. The letter was instantly reduced into ashes that scattered in the wind. Threatening me. Duanmu Sheng lowered his voice and tentatively said, Master, 5 civilian corpses were sent along with this letter. Upon hearing this, Hua Chongyang fell to his knees immediately. I'm useless. The Nether Sect has just conquered the divine capital, so our foundations aren't stable yet. The despicable other tribesmen are using this opportunity to stir up trouble. Please give me some time, Senior Ji. I will certainly catch them and cut them to 10,000 pieces. Hua Chongyang knew if his sect master wanted to rule the empire, they would need to govern the empire well and ensure the civilians' safety. The civilians were the foundations of the city, after all. With the foundation in chaos, how could the empire prosper? None of the court officials are doing anything? Lu Zhou asked, puzzled. They're indifferent to the situation. The Nether Sect alone is maintaining basic order in the divine capital. However, the 9 provinces are chaotic as well. I've sent the 12 branch masters back to take care of their respective cities. The military force is concentrated in the divine capital, and it's proving difficult to suppress these other tribesmen spies, Hua Chongyang replied. Duanmu Sheng bowed and said, Master, he's not to blame for this. I went out for a stroll this morning. The divine capital is still in the midst of recuperating. Many buildings are being reconstructed. At the end of the day, the court officials would not align themselves with the fiend path. Those other tribesmen spies dressed up like Great Yan civilians. It's difficult to tell them apart. After hearing their statements, Zhou felt that this was indeed a problem. At this moment, Zhao Yu appeared in front of Dajing Palace. When she entered, she said, "Master, many civilians are kneeling in front of the imperial city." Upon hearing this, Zhou said, "I'll go and take a look." The others left Dajing Palace as well. Soon after, Zhou appeared above the imperial city and looked at the kneeling civilians. There were hundreds of them. Pieces of papers were littered around them. They were kowtowing and shouting at the same time. "Please help us, evil sky pavilion. Please help us, evil sky pavilion." Zhou pointed at the paper on the ground and asked, "What do the papers say?" "They're left by the other tribesmen. Their contents are the same as the letter you read. That's why all the civilians are panicking," Hua Chongyang said with a frown. The civilians continued to kowtow. Zhou looked at the civilians again. Those spies are cunning. Even if the spies were singled out, they could not do anything if the spies refused to confuse. If they recklessly kill people, it would only worsen the situation in the divine capital. As the saying went, it's easy to conquer a country, but it's difficult to govern it. Zhou stroked his beard as he thought of a countermeasure. After muttering to himself for a while, he said, "I'll do something about this." After saying this, he heard a ding from the system's notification. He checked the system's mission list. As expected, there was a new mission: solve the divine capital's hidden problem. With Senior G making a move, victory is in the bag. Hua Chongyang bowed. Inwardly, he wondered how Zhou would solve this difficult matter. Force alone would not be able to solve anything. Notify Big Dipper Academy's Zhou Yukai that I want to meet him.